Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here. Once again, it is time for a chest and tricep day, and we started off with bench press. And what I'm doing on the benching, pretty much just straight bodybuilder benching. I decided instead of trying to do a top set with 315, we're just going to come in, do a really challenging set with a very soft touch and go. The reason I'm doing this is because, again, I'm going flat back. I'm going for the longest possible range of motion. I've actually checked my leverages, and I know that I get the deepest stretch with exactly this grip. We are doing it completely flat back, and I'm not even pausing because then I risk using some leg drive, which you guys will notice when I get to the last set of incline a little bit. So what I'm trying to do here is absolutely maximize chest development, and I can always go back and power bench at any time. You guys know anytime I come in and pause, leg drive, everything's good. So what I'm trying to do with this is to maximize chest, okay? So I am straight bodybuilder benching here, and the thing is, it won't matter. My bench will go up. If my chest gets bigger from all this, my power bench will go up if I go back to it. But again, the trick here, flat back, I'm not really that tight. The only thing that's super tight is my grip, and I want to emphasize that. I got asked in the questions earlier, well, you know, how tight should we be when you talk about flat back? I'm like, well, your grip needs to always be tight. A loose grip on pressing in general is a big cause of shoulder pathology and shoulder issues because of the torque and stuff it puts, because you're losing your wrist stacking. So outside of that, though, you can be relatively loose. I'm not really performing any serious scapular retraction. I'm also not protracting them, but I just have them pulled in. We're not tight. I don't have anything dug in like I normally would do. Now, a little bit sometimes on that last rep I might be, because I have to dig in just a little sometimes when it gets heavy, but that's okay. The incline kind of did the same thing the first two sets, and then I'm like, well, I really want this third set to count, so I paused all the reps on it and managed to get more. So that's the thing. When I do pause on incline, I'm definitely stronger. There's probably a degree of truth to that to the flat bench, but I'm also trying to, on that flat bench, make sure I'm getting that chest tension. So again, my chest got really lit up today. So I'm very happy with the way all of that went. So everyone knows I'm trying to specialize a little more in upper chest, but I do want the whole thing to grow. And of course, for me at this point in the game, stuff like rear delts, arms are high priority. So again, my arms get the most work. So I have 2 tricep days. So we want to be clear here. I'm not doing any isolation for my chest. I do all 12 sets of chest, if we count the pullovers as chest, and I think we should. So again, with a bias towards upper chest, and that's not counting my overhead work or any of that later in the week. So again, pretty good volumes, but again, it's focused on the upper chest more because I want to continue to develop that area. But all of my chest work is a press or a pullover, and the reason is my triceps absolutely have to come up. Right, my arms in general just need more work, and it's because of the years and years of powerlifting. So even all my chest work is going to tend to be that. Now the incline here, yeah, this is solid. I may end up going over and doing all my incline like this. I may even take the bench back over to doing this, but I just want a little bit of this soft touch and goes. But man, on the incline, that helps. And I do feel like for overall aesthetics, getting real strong on the incline is a way to go. So I'm kind of doubling down on it, though, by doing dumbbells also. So on these, I'm not trying to go as heavy. I do all that really hard work on the barbell. So this is just taking sets to failure. So I'm not trying to push the 85s. I don't want to go under 12 reps. So when I go up to the 85, sometimes I get 10 or 11. But with the 75s, I'm right around 13 or so, and then failing right about there. So again, the idea here, just trying to get that pump work, that different angle. So again, I'm working the incline from 2 angles, right? Now, for a lot of people, they're like, oh, your stretch isn't super deep. That literally is my full range of motion. Notice when I kick it into position, I'm still down there like that. So that is my range of motion. That's one reason I like incline, because incline puts me at the deepest stretch possible. And it's just my scapula, the way I'm built, having the lats that I have absolutely affects a lot of that stuff, right? So I'm not actually putting the brakes on those. I'm dropping them into the stretch for me. So again, it's just something that comes up. But I'm hoping all this stretch work like this and incline work and the pullovers and other stuff will, over time, improve all my range of motion and my shoulder and everything. So that's kind of the hope. So again, stuff that I just have to continue to work on, but it is what it is. It's what I've dealt with for a long time as I've gotten older. But again, notice the upper chest. The upper chest looks really good when I've been doing my vlogs too. If you guys notice the walking vlogs and the lives when I do those, so check those out. They're on both my things because this is going to be on both my social media. So these vlogs here are not just on one. So I get some people like, oh, it only gets X views here, but then on another one it might get more. Like, you never know. Keep in mind I do the tubes and the Facebook. So all this, every video I do goes to both. So for those who aren't understanding. Again, I only got 12 on this final set, and really my goal here is to just pump the hell out of my upper chest on the dumbbell work at the end. That's my only goal, because we're chasing progress on the others, and I almost feel like I want to just stay at 275 on the flat and 225 on the incline at this point, and just work towards sets of 10. Because if I can get to 3x10 on the way I'm doing both of them, same thing on my standing press, if I can get that 155 to 3 sets of 10, I mean, I probably have as much bench strength as I'm going to want, when I go to max later. In fact, I would probably hit PRs. So I'm just going to work towards that, work on the hypertrophy side. So we're really going to just bodybuild the upper body. Even though I'm calling it power building, we are doing power building. It is power building. I'm taking the reps a hair higher on some of the pressing, and it really is bodybuilding the upper body. It's still heavy work though. Lower body, I'm still going to be doing singles as a power building for squat and deadlift to some extent, 1 to 3s and things. But yeah, I'm going to continue to work this as a power building type training. So we're still going to do some moderately heavy work, and then I'll work back into doing some heavy benching again. But I've always said here, I want a 315 incline also. All right, I feel like if I can get my incline to 315, my strict press to 225 again, all that stuff, my bench itself will come up too. But it's all going to come through hypertrophy, because I can always technique and leg drive and arch and all that on bench later. But I need the muscle mass, and so we're just going to body build all of it. Because again, aesthetics is what I'm chasing now. I'm chasing a physique, chasing that classic bodybuilder physique. So for those who aren't understanding, and I don't mean classic as in the IFBB's classic division, I mean real classic physique. I'm looking at guys like Reg Park up to Frank Zane. Those are my inspirations. All right, so the dumbbells went good though. I really like this. I'm doing this on both my tricep days, the dumbbell incline extension. I mean, I could probably work a different lift in here on the chest day. I just really like this movement. I feel like it works the angles that I would like. I mean, we could make the case for maybe I should do a skull crusher or something, or, the barbell extension laying in place of this. If I had a good decline bench, I would put that here. All right, we could make the case for all that. But I just like the exercise. I like the exercise. I think it's a good exercise. So for now, I'm doing it both days, but I could always change that at some point. And then we finish up with pullovers, and I'm just trying to crank out sets of 20. I'm keeping the rest time short enough on these that by that third set, I'm pretty much at failure. Because again, and I may just increase volume. I may try to get more and more reps with this 55. But what I'm trying to do is get the deepest stretch that I can. So for me, that is the full range of motion. Notice when I pause these and try to stretch, that's my range of motion. I'm hoping this exercise will increase that gradually over time. But I'm a big fan of this movement. I also feel it in my triceps big time, and I've said that before. So again, when I have a tricep weakness, I have a shoulder range of motion limitation, this exercise will help. Because remember when I couldn't do pull-ups and I started doing these even with a 25, I was able to get up to where I could do pull-ups again. So I want to keep them in just because they do so much for my shoulder health. In addition to the fact that they're a great old school bodybuilding exercise. I mean, I feel like this is a sort of stuff you really are chasing a classic type physique, incline benching, pullovers, right? These things bring a lot. But I'm hoping that extra tricep long head activation this gives will help me out there, over time with that area. Because again, arms have to come up in general. I need an inch added to my arms all the way around. Combination of tricep, bicep. Yeah, we could argue my triceps need the most work, but I just need more arm, including forearms. That's why we do direct forearm work. So even on my deadlift and posterior chain day, I'm coming in and doing extra forearms, right? So we isolate both angles of that as well. Again, arms. So keep rolling with it. But notice that pause that we do at the end. Notice that pause we do at the end. So that is my deepest stretch. But again, I feel like I want to increase volume on this. So I may just stick with the 55 and just keep ramping it harder and harder. I'll see if we can get to 25, 30, and try to continue to stretch that range of motion. But this is the last set of the day here coming up. Really happy with today's workout. I felt like everything was good. I feel like physique is still continuing to improve. I'm going to do cardio here later, cardio lives on both platforms. So I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys and gals next time.